Hello, and I'm inviting you to join me in the month of September for our series on practicing the religion of the inner life. Yes. And we're going to do this practice during the month of September because what I know for sure right now is one of the hardest pieces of being in life right now and being on a spiritual journey is holding the realities of the material world and our spiritual truths at the same time. It's probably always been our hardest challenge. But when we can do that, when we can be totally present in the material world, in the world of conditions and physical manifestations, and stay grounded in the truth of who we are and what God is and what love is and what spirit is, all at the same time, that's the sweet spot. And we are going to practice together during the month of September, finding that sweet spot and learning how to stay in it. And it's hard. It's hard to hold both. It's hard to stay grounded in spiritual truth and present to what is happening in the world right now, right? It is not an easy task. But that sweet spot is so worth finding and staying connected to. And so we're going to talk about, how do you find it? Why do you find it? Why can't I just go bury my head in the sand? And does spiritual practice really help? Is it really going to help me feel better and stay grounded in this time? So that's what we're going to be talking about during the month of September. But here's what this is not going to be about. This is not going to be about some future outcome that we will dangle out in front of each other as if you do your spiritual practice and if you pray and meditate every day, then the world is going to be a better place. That's not what we're going to do. We're not going to put some future outcome, some future hope as the motivation for finding that sweet spot. Because the sweet spot is the reward. Communion with the truth of who we are is the reward. The religion of the inner life is the religion. It is the only place we find that divine authority. And I want to share some wisdom from you, from Howard Thurman, who's going to be one of my huge resources this month. I have sought a way of life that could come under the influence of and be informed by the fruits of the inner life. That's from his book, Mysticism and the Experience of Love. May we each find a way of life that is entirely informed by the fruits of our inner being. And one of these fruits from practicing this religion of the inner life is a greater sense of hope. And I know right now we are in huge need of a greater sense of hope, but that hope can't be based out there and some future outcome. And here's what Cynthia Bourgeault, who is a Christian mystic and author, says. This greater hope has something to do with presence. Not a future good outcome, but the immediate experience of being met, held in communion by something intimately at hand. She goes on to say, it bears fruit within us at the psychological level in the sensations of strength, joy, and satisfaction. It brings us an unbearable lightness of being. But mysteriously, rather than deriving these gifts from outward expectations being met, it seems to be produced from within. So join me in September for the practice of inner life. And I'm going to leave you with a meditation from Howard Thurman in his book For the Inward Journey, The Moments of High Resolve. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Despite the dullness and bareness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time, it was full-orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for all the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the journey. Details, lower-level demands, all kinds of cross currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foes are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. And so it is.